So the Chicago Sky team have been in turmoil. They have been in some absolute they're in free fall. They didn't make the playoffs. They won 3 games post-Olympic break against the Wings, the Sparks, and the Sparks. So teams with combined 7 or 15 wins. Actually, no, the Sparks won yesterday, so combined 16 wins. Less wins. Like, teams that their combined wins would be the 8th seed are the only teams Chicago Sky have beaten since they traded Marina Mabrey right here. And if you guys didn't see during the press conference, and we saw the situation here, and like, for people saying they still believe Chicago will be a free agent destination, like, I will say that this would if the Fever didn't make the playoffs, this would have probably happened with Fever players. The reality of this is that this is not a fault of the Sky. This is not a fault of Angel Reese. Just like for some of the Fever players, it's not the fault of Caitlin Clark. The reality of the entire situation is, with the way social media is, I've said it from literally week 1. I advise all of these players to get off Twitter, because you can avoid reading your Instagram comments. You can avoid seeing it in other social medias. The problem is that, like, it's hard not to look up stuff about yourself, especially when what the WNBA used to be, that, like, people call Twitter the public town square. The problem is that in a public town square, the village idiot's voice is louder than otherwise, especially when everyone technically has an equal voice, and an algorithm is there to push the most extreme takes on either side. So if you are Dana Evans, or you're Izzy Harrison, or you're Aaliyah Boston, Melissa Smith, Katie Lou Samuelson, Christy Wallace, and speaking of Christy Wallace, as somebody who, I can't lie, after yesterday's absolutely unbelievable performance, maybe Christy Sides was right, but Christy Wallace, maybe she was right, and for that reason, we have released the Dog Wallace merchandise, the Christy Dog Wallace t-shirt. But yeah, either way, so that's just the reality of the situation. Is it's not the fault of the players, it's the fault of sports. And that's just the way it is, because if you want to look at, heck, if you just type in, like, if you look, anytime LeBron James will miss a game winner, the abuse that he'll get, anytime LeBron makes a bad play, heck, even if you're playing with LeBron, like, can you imagine if in 2024 a Kyle Korver situation happened where game 3 of the finals, wide open 3 to win the game, to ice the game, brick, KD comes down, hits a shot. Imagine if in this current iteration of Twitter with the Elon Musk algorithm, because you used to be able to dodge it because you could always set your thing to following, but now the For You page is there. I would advise, even if you are not, if you're a WNBA player, even if you don't want to, like, get off Twitter, I would advise you to not click on the For You page, set it to following straight away, and as well as that, go and make sure you unfollow all the fan accounts. And that's another issue with WNBA players, is players follow too many fans. Players interact with fans too much and they follow too many fans. I think it might have been okay when there was only a couple of thousand fans on Twitter and it never got this toxic. But the reality is that when sports grow, they're going to get more toxic. And let's take a listen to exactly what Izzy Harrison and Dana Evans had to say about this right here. Let's go.
What was the sort of content of it? Like, what was the feeling like? What were you reading, seeing, hearing?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It was tough. I mean, Izzy, I know you can attest to that too. Yeah. It was really tough. I mean, we're professionals. We know that we can play this game. I mean, but when you got people that's steady bashing you, that's supposed to be our supporters, I feel like that was a little slap in the face.
And that's the one thing, is that, like, if you listen to the whole thing, the reporter is basically trying to get them to blame Caitlin Clark fans. The way he was wording questions, he was trying to trick them into going for Caitlin Clark fans. But the one thing I will say is, if you ask Kennedy Carter about it, she's probably received much more abuse from the opposite side. The thing with these two players is they gave Dana Evans abuse because Dana Evans would shoot the ball instead of passing it to Angel Reese. And they gave Izzy Harrison abuse on social media because she caught rebounds. I'm not joking. Izzy Harrison was being slandered for a month on social media because when the ball was there, because she caught rebounds. Because they were like, she was going aggressively catching the boards because she was stealing Angel's rebounds. And the reality of this is, stealing rebounds is not a freaking thing. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
That was hard to kind of deal with, but
it was disgusting.
It was really disgusting. But I always say God does not make mistakes, and I feel like this season really challenged my mental to another level, and I feel like I'm going to be so much better next season, just mentally prepared for everything. And I know, Izzy, you kind of feel that way too.
I've never experienced this amount of hate and harassment this entire season. I get emotional about it because I know Dana went through the same, but it's hard because it should have never been like that. And
she's 100% on the money, but I also want to put a big blame on the actual WNBA itself. How did they not know this is coming? Like, it doesn't take a genius to know, to just see what's happening to NBA players on Twitter. It doesn't take a genius to see what's happening to tennis players on Twitter, what's happening to female gymnasts on Twitter, if you want to look at women's sports. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I don't understand, why did the WNBA not sit every player down and do some sort of 12-hour talk about social media before the season started? Because we saw it in college. We saw the crap that Gabby Marshall had to deal with after she drew a foul. She drew a foul! We saw the crap that Angel Reese had to deal with after this situation. We've seen the crap Caitlin Clark has had to deal with for years. We've seen the crap that Camila Cardoso had to deal with after the LSU was an LSU fight with South Carolina. We've seen all this stuff. We've seen it in women's basketball. We knew, like, everyone with a brain knew it was coming. And the reality of this is that it's not right. And people being like, oh, it shouldn't just be accepted. No, it shouldn't be accepted. But the problem is that you've got anonymous accounts and sometimes non-anonymous accounts. Heck, we saw a non-anonymous account call Caitlin Clark. You know what? It's that bad. I'm not even going to. And like, this is someone who has been a VIP invited to WNBA things. Like, and is there in pictures with all these players, like, saying something about Caitlin Clark that is so bad I'm not even repeating it in a video. But like, that's the issue with this whole situation, is that they should have been prepped for it. Like, you're not going to stop it. It's not right, but you're not going to stop it. So from the WNBA's perspective, they've got to prepare players for this. Like, you have got to prepare players for this. As my camera just froze right there in a strange situation, but you've got to prepare players for this right here. So yeah, let's take a listen. Let me turn off my camera and let's take a listen to the rest of this before I plug my camera back in.
To go and just want to play basketball every day, and you have people constantly, and if it's online, it's online, but like, you now get tagged in it, and I'm constantly having to block people and just people making narratives up about you. It's hurtful.
It is.
And it's hard to just focus on basketball. And I appreciate the new eyes, but if it comes with hate and bigotry and racism and even people that look like me bashing you, you can.
I think the reality of the situation is that these two got it from the abuse that these two got was not from Caitlin Clark fans. The reality of the situation is that not even, I don't even know why I said Caitlin Clark fans. Because to be fair, I will say Caitlin Clark fans, the amount of stuff that Christy Sides, I think Christy Sides might have gotten more abuse than anyone else. Christy Sides and Christy Wallace might have gotten more online abuse than everyone else. But I think the Fever have done a really good job, and it helps when you're winning. But I think the Fever nipped it in the bud early. I think they got the online insults early on in the season. And I think I have to give credit where credit's due to Christy Sides and Lynn Dunn for making sure that, even though as bad as it is, that their team focused on their team. And it does help, though, when you've got, for example, someone that's dealt with it in a Caitlin Clark, who's dealt with that crap for a while. And you see how she's not letting it affect her game, and how Angel Reese, to an extent, a lot of the time isn't letting it affect her game. But I do want to say that, like, the unfortunate truth is that you're going to be tagged in things. So with the growth of the league means more people means you being treated as a celebrity rather than as a person, which is not right. But we've all been a part of celebrity culture. It happens. So I think these players just need to be better equipped with dealing with it. But it's obviously horrible to listen to this right here.
Keep it offline because it's so hurtful and you don't know how that affects people. So I think that's just something that a lot of new fans need to be mindful of, and we don't want that to carry into the locker room. And
exactly. And to piggyback on that is, I'm gonna say, especially for the people that support the Sky, if you're gonna support the Sky, support the Sky. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was a big issue, and it messes with your mental. I don't care how good you are or what's going on. You're gonna see stuff, you're gonna read stuff, but this it made you a lot better. It made us a lot stronger up here, and we'll be better next year.
You learn from it, you grow from it.
I'm actually impressed with how Dana Evans is reacting to this whole situation, because it is obviously really, really sad to read in general. It's sad to see how people are reacting, but the unfortunate thing is that the only way that you can deal with it is the way they are, is you just have to, it is an individual thing where individually you have to just become thicker, is thicker skin the right way? You just have to prepare to how to deal with it and not necessarily expect sometimes criticism, justified, unjustified, the hate is going to come. But yeah, it is sad all around. I think that this is met in the totality for everything. This is a learning year for the WNBA. And I think, you know what, when the NBA, they have their rookie thing where they go in, they learn about the financial side of everything, how to not screw up their money and everything. And I'm pretty sure there is a social media part of that where it's this is what you should do and not do on social media, get off all these things. I think, because I know people that run social media accounts for NBA players. It is a thing. A lot of NBA players don't run their own social media. I literally know guys that run social media accounts for NBA players. So that is the thing. It's you can be if you're a Kevin Durant, cool, which I think someone like a Sydney Colson is, that you're willing to clap back and you just kind of take it all in stride. And it's one thing, it's also a lot easier to take that when you're winning. As someone again who, I stopped reading comments, which on YouTube, which made my job a million times easier, because it's even if things are going well and bad, depending on what mood you're in, you're either going to be affected or not affected by stuff like that. And it's the truth of it all. When you're in a good mood, the hate's not going to affect you, but when you're losing and you're struggling maybe as a player, it can get much worse. So yeah, it's just kind of it was an inevitable situation with the growth of the WNBA. It's sad that there are individuals that have had to deal with this, but I think it's, as bad as it is to say, it's probably a situation where I think they should have been proactive in prepping their players for this. They should have expected this to come. Is it right? No. It's just not right what's happening. But the reality of this is that this is not a Caitlin Clark fan problem. Heck, it was fans of Angel Reese that were attacking these two players. And the reality is, Caitlin Clark's her job is not to step up to acknowledge it on social media, because the reality is just like it's not Angel Reese's job. If someone does choose to do it, cool. If Angel Reese does choose to do it, then cool. If Caitlin Clark does it, cool. But the reality is it's not their responsibility. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. A bit of a long one. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.